viewing today. So if you are just viewing and you want to participate in the actual live conversation, which is always the best place to be, just click on the top link in the Facebook post that Dan put in the group. Otherwise, if you have questions or comments, just make sure that you type them. We'll break at certain points, and the moderator will pass those over to us. So welcome to August, everyone. Hope that the weekend was wonderful. We have a fun session today. We're going to be talking about external marketing for the September campaigns. And if you're new, this might seem crazy because like you just started August. Why are we talking about September? But this is what major brands do. They're at least 30 days in advance, if not even a quarter in advance. So we're always going to be talking about a month that's out into the future, because what we spoke about last month is the month that you're in, and you should be using those techniques and strategies to implement this month, but then getting ready for next month. So by the time that September starts, it's off to the races. So we have some exciting news, so I want to kind of go through some just weekly SynMind updates. One thing is that you're going to see the October campaigns later on today or first thing tomorrow morning. We're just getting all the training videos edited, but we're pushing for later on today. If not, it'll be first thing tomorrow morning. They're awesome campaigns, and you'll have until August 17th, so you have plenty of time to make your selection. So I'll just go through them, figure out what's best for you. They're just absolutely fantastic. I mean, really fun, really edgy, and it's going to perform wonderfully for you. In addition, we have a really cool concept that we're going to launch in September in honor of chiropractor's birthday, but even more than that. It's a big deal, actually. We had a meeting last Friday, and we sat down for hours just planning this thing out. So I want to share it with all of you first, because I want to get everyone involved with it. It's called Project Chiropractic. So one of the things that we've always believed to be true, and we know that it's true, is that the best way for chiropractic to reach the masses is for the masses to bring chiropractic to the masses. So what does that mean? It means lay people need to be going out there and sharing your story on your behalf by exposing people to their transformations. You know this, right? This is a referral-based practice where you have practice members that experience transformations. They go and they speak with their spouse, their loved ones, people at their office, their friends, their family, and they say, my life transformed since I started chiropractic care, and I really encourage you to experience it as well. The stories of transformation is what drives lay people to take action, because it's a story that they can relate with. It's a story where they can see themselves within. Project Chiropractic is going to be a massive launch that we create completely free for this profession, because we really think this could help just like push this profession forward. This is how it's going to work. We're going to send a survey out to just the tribe, probably tomorrow or maybe Wednesday at latest. What we want you to do is think about a practice member that has experienced the most significant transformation to date. Someone that maybe they were a skeptic coming in, they tried everything in the past, they were taking tons of pharmaceutical medications, their child was about to have surgery to put tubes in their ears. I'm sure you guys have stories like this, but they've transformed and they have a story to share. What we're going to do is I'm going to interview them. Video interview, we're going to do a Google Hangout together, and I'm going to get up close and personal with their story. I want to understand what their life was like before they joined your clinic. I want to understand what that journey looked like. I want to understand why they were initially hesitant to try chiropractic. And then I want to understand what they did experience and what they want the world to know. This has the potential to be enormously powerful. And the reason for it is that we are going to build out a full website for it and a video sequence. My goal is that we interview between 7 to 10 stories of transformation. So feel free to submit more than one if you have some amazing stories. But the key is that you need to submit stories of people who are willing to share the story with me, because we're going to go back and forth and really dive deep into this. What we're going to then set up is 2 landing pages. One landing page is going to be for chiropractors, and then one landing page is going to be for lay people. The way that it works is that we are going to do a marketing campaign to the chiropractic page to around 30 to 35,000 chiropractors, maybe even more by the time it's all said and done. When a chiropractor signs up for the actual page, what they're going to get is a full marketing campaign for Project Chiropractic that they can use to get the message out to their community. emails, posters, flyers. You guys obviously know the deal. You're part of this. So we're going to create a campaign for them to use so they can promote Project Chiropractic and drive lay people to the layperson version of this page, where it speaks to the layperson, and the lay people will sign up to experience this transformational video series that'll be probably around 30 days long, and they'll get a video every few days talking about stories of transformation. The reason this is so powerful is that this is going to expose people to things that they didn't even realize that chiropractic can accomplish. I mean, I anticipate some major stories here. And this is going to be something that we're only going to open up to all of you guys, all of the tribe members, to submit stories on your patient's behalf of people who you know would be open to doing an interview like this. And I'm telling you, I think this could reach literally millions of people. The reason we say that is just think about just the sheer volume of the number of chiropractors that we're reaching out to. And if of the 35,000, let's say that 10% of them decide to actually participate, that's 3,500 chiropractors. And let's say that they have 1,000 people in their database each. That's millions of people that are exposed to this. So it's a really big push. The motivation behind it is the same motivation to us launching SynPractic, which is to bring chiropractic to the world. But the only way this works is if we get really good candidates to interview. So I know that if I've mentioned this in the past to a few people, and they already were like, I have the perfect person, but we want to open it up to all of you. So just look for that survey. We'll send it out through email. We're going to post it on Facebook. Just take a minute and like write a brief story of transformation. As a team, we're going to vote on the best 7 to 10. And then from there, I'm going to personally begin to reach out to the chiropractor who submitted the patient so that we can then make the connection and we can do this interview. I'm really excited about this. I think this could be absolutely huge for chiropractic. It's called Project Chiropractic, so look out for it. On the housekeeping side, we are launching an entirely new brand for Synduit and for SynPractic. It's super cool. We've invested at this point, I would say at least 100 hours just in the planning process, and now we're beginning to put this to life. So we would love to get some video testimonials from all of you. So just when you get a chance, please, ideally like by this Friday would be ideal. If you can record a testimonial of your experience, a video testimonial, we will incorporate it into the new site. It's going to be super cool. It's really going to get the message out there. It's going to help chiropractic, because the more chiropractors that get involved, the better it is for the profession. So just please try to do that by this Friday, because we are looking to aggregate these and then get this finished. Dan, do you want to talk about some last-minute tips for the August campaigns?
Yeah, sure. So for those of you who are running campaigns for this month, I want you guys just to remember what August is going to be for you. What you guys have planned ahead. What you guys have talked to your team about. If you've set goals, visualize what that kind of stuff looks like, because I think that that's really a really central and crucial step in actually achieving that and meeting your numbers and growing. So spend some time today and really kind of visualize those patients coming in and entering your practice. So conceptualize what that means, and I want you to just think about that ripple effect that you guys are having on the community. In addition, so I want you guys to really put yourself out there and blitz the community. We always say that in terms of the external promotion. We'll talk about that today, but this is the time to really double down on that kind of stuff, because if your campaign isn't in the next couple of days and it's in the next couple of weeks, and this is the prime time to get the word out for it. So make sure that your posters are out there. Make sure that if you've established a business relationship, that you're talking to that business partner every single day and keeping them in the loop and letting them know what's going on, helping them through it, giving them tips, all that kind of good stuff. So blitz the community, make sure that the word is out about those things, and use the fearless strategies that we talked about last month for August campaigns. Go back to the videos if you don't remember what they were, but make sure that you're using those and getting in the news and putting to use all the resources that come with those campaigns, because that's going to make the difference.
Yeah, that's awesome. And really, I like the first topic that you mentioned, because the key to success is being able to see it even before it happens, and then never losing sight of it. And that's why at the beginning of every month we do this for ourselves. We really sit down and we have a visualization session of what's going to take place that month. How many chiropractors are going to join the tribe? What's the new functionality that we're going to launch in the software platform? What are the campaigns? And we begin to see it even before the month begins, so that's all that we know. Like it's like we have blinders up to success. And that's really what we encourage you guys to do as well. Is really think about what is August going to be for you. The month's getting started. You have the ability to be the author of this month. What is going to take place? But you have to see it in order for it to manifest. So I just want to recap last week's call. I would probably say, and I think, Dan, you might agree, that was the best SynMind to date. I mean, it was awesome. We had, it was definitely the largest group. We had, I don't even know how many in the end because there were so many people that were viewing. It was hard to even tell. But we had at least a dozen that were on the live chat, and then the viewing was huge. It was fantastic. And it was the most unorthodox one that we've had yet. There was no agenda for it. We kind of just came together, we brainstormed. But what we discussed is the new technology that's going to be available to all of you on September 1st, or by September 1st. The chance could even be done sooner. At this point, we're just finishing the dashboard so that the user experience is really smooth for you. The expectation threads. So these were the video series that your practice members will get that will lay a foundation of expectation. We are in the final process of the third video, just getting it kind of tweaked and finalized for all of you, and then we're going to begin to install that onto your site. We talked about the importance of setting up this just massive educational drip sequence and how we're going to enroll you in the process. What do you want your practice members to know for the next 3 years? And I'm just using 3 years as an arbitrary date, but like what type of information is really important for them to grasp? We talked about the new SynMind model and like what will it look like once we give you access to the platform. So now all of a sudden you guys are able to do whatever you want whenever you want. So there's not necessarily 6 campaigns that are relevant to everybody. What does it look like? And all of you that were on the live chat and even those that weren't were submitting ideas. Fantastic. We really appreciate the collaboration. And then the final piece, which is something that is a strategy that you all should be doing each month, is something that we call coffee breaks. It could be a lunch date, a smoothie meeting, whatever you want to call it, but it's a meeting with a local business owner that has achieved some level of success. It doesn't have to be financial success. It could be the fact that they've been there for 30 years. It could be the fact they have a really loyal tribe of people who believe in what they believe. And going in and having a meal with them or a cup of coffee and breaking down how they've been able to do it. Asking as many questions as you possibly can so you can take away their insight, make it your own wisdom, and what will happen in that discussion is they're going to want to learn more about you, and then there's a chance for you to really solidify a very firm relationship when it comes to cross-promotions, when it comes to referrals, when it comes to a new patient even for that matter. So having these at least once every other week will prove to be exceptionally beneficial for you. If I was a chiropractor, I would be doing at least 1 or 2 of these every week. That's how I would grow my clinic outside of doing education and relationship-based marketing. So if you don't know what I'm referring to, just go back and watch last week's session. We really dove into this and we gave some really tangible ideas. Some reminders for everybody before we dive into external marketing for the September campaigns. This Wednesday, we have our Business Pros with Dan, and he's doing an awesome session. It's at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. 5 creative ways to build your email list. So, and these are awesome. These are actually fearless ways, not even just creative ways. These are awesome. And then the J&G Timeouts, which is the conference call for your staff. This is at 2 o'clock Eastern Time this Wednesday, and the topic is bringing Synduit's culture and practices into your office. Trust me when I say you want your staff to listen to this, whether it's live or they download the recording. We have a very unique culture here that has allowed us to achieve high levels of success, and we're going to open up our closet so that you can see inside. As always, make sure that you send all marketing and SynMind questions to marketing@synduit.com, and if it's a website request, email pixelcorps@synduit.com, and continue to use Facebook. It's really a special place. It's, I would say, the most supportive chiropractic group that there is because everybody is just out to support one another. So just keep on using it, post questions, post success stories, post challenges. Everyone here is to support one another because the power is truly in the pack. So let's dive in to some of these external strategies. Dan, do you want to run with the universal marketing strategies?
Sure. So basically, when we're talking about external marketing, there are a couple things that you guys are familiar with, a couple of things that you may not be familiar with, especially for those who this is your first call. So we're going to go through these universal ones, and these apply to every single campaign that we're about to talk about. So apply them in as creative and fearless a way as you can, and then we'll go into the more specific ones after that. So the first universal strategy is to hang up posters of local businesses, pass out flyers, save the date cards, and what we were just talking about, blitzing the community. So that means getting outside of your office and hanging stuff up, talking to other businesses, letting them know what's going on, having them promote it to their audience. So make sure that you get out there, and you can even send your staff for an hour a day to the local businesses, within a 5-mile radius or something like that, and get that, going. Next one is to use all the included marketing resources. We put everything into every campaign for a reason. So if it doesn't have, a certain letter, it's because that letter wouldn't work. But if it does have a certain letter, it means that that letter has worked. We've seen it work, and that's why we're including it. That's why we wrote it. So make sure that you use all the printed materials, the Facebook cover images, the letters to the local businesses, news outlets, all that kind of stuff. The envelope technique, for those of you who don't know that, the envelope technique is basically where you take an 8.5 by 11 envelope and you put a bunch of your posters into it, along with a letter that we write for you and another pre-postage paid envelope of the same size, and you send it to a bunch of local businesses. You basically put 5 to 7 of these together, and the letter inside basically says, "Hello, Doctor," or Mr. Business Owner. I've been following your business. I love it, and I wanted to see if we could, form a partnership. I've included a couple of posters that I was hoping you could hang up in your office, and I've included an envelope that you could send your posters back, and we'll hang it up in ours. So that's a great way to engage the spirit of reciprocity amongst, local business owners and get your posters out there once again. Always try to engage other businesses within a campaign for joint venture marketing. So this doesn't necessarily mean just hanging up posters. This means you want to bring them in for a talk, or you want to interview them on a teleseminar. So definitely a universal marketing strategy is to reach out and form joint venture partnerships, because those are really where you find that synergy between businesses. So if you reach out to the local yoga studio and you interview the owner, everybody in your audience who's interested in yoga will come to that teleseminar, and everybody who's interested in chiropractic and wellness who's in their audience will also come to the teleseminar. So that's a way that you can reach a totally new audience by creating a really interesting conversation. I want to emphasize for the next strategy, emphasize the importance of the Facebook cover photo. We started including those a couple months ago, and we've gotten some really good feedback. So make sure that you guys are using them. It's a super simple process to upload them and get them on your Facebook page, and it's the first thing that people see when they come to your page. So it's a great way to promote what's coming up for you. Now, the next one, and this is just a more general comment, but do what others don't even think to do. Do what seems out there and probably a useless waste of time, but it works. All those times that you think, oh, it's just a waste of time, it's not going to work, or this is just too much, or I don't have the resources. That's the difference between those who are able to just get by and those who really kill a campaign. Those who fill the room and then some, and block out the parking lot because all the cars are in the way. So what other businesses can get involved? Think about what kinds of relationships that you can start that are fearless, ideas that we're going to share some today, and there are many, many more. So think about what's really outside the box and how you can turn September into your most successful month to date. We want you to just be on an upward trajectory. So think about those external promotion ideas that will just blow things out of the water, because the things that blow things out of the water are things that people haven't seen before, because it captures their attention. And we always talk about the internal strategies when it comes to pattern interrupts and anchors, and that's great for your internal audience, but are you doing the same thing for your external audience? Think about what that means for them, how you can be creative in your external community and getting your name out there outside of your own walls. So those are the universal marketing strategies. Jared, why don't we jump into the individual campaign stuff now?
Yeah, that's awesome. And one of the things you were just talking about, it just kind of came to me, and because I always think to myself, like, if I was a chiropractor, what would I do? And when it comes to this joint venture marketing, I'm not saying that that's like a new concept. I'm sure that all of you have been told to do something like that before. But how can you do it in a way that may be different than you've done it in the past, which in turn makes it even more effective? So one thing you might want to consider as you go and pursue these relationships is bringing a video camera with you and doing like a 5-minute video blog with that person, where you sit down and like you do a quick interview about them and their business and their beliefs and their philosophy and the type of clientele they work with, and do it on the spot. Like after you're done, be like, hey, why don't we do a short video blog? I'll post it on my website. I'll go out to my whole audience, and you can share it with your audience as well. I think it'll be a great way for you to connect with my people and to get your message out there, and I really love what you do. And they're going to say, well, that's awesome. Like, that's, yeah, why not? And now you all of a sudden you have this little video endorsement that you're going to put on your site, so you're building strong, like really powerful goodwill with this other business. They're going to feel obligated to somehow pay it back. There's a chance they send it out, and they probably will send it out to their audience because they're proud of it, which then exposes their audience to your database. So that's a really easy strategy, because if you're going out anyway and networking with them, just bring a video camera and then just get it posted, because it's such an effective mechanism to just solidify that relationship. So Dan, those were really great universal strategies. So cool. Let's dive into each of these campaigns. So what we're going to do is we always share an immediate action with each campaign, something that you need to do if you're going to be pursuing this campaign. We also share a fearless strategy that's going to take you outside of your comfort zone a little bit, but it's fearless, and we know that's where all success lives. And then we're going to highlight what resource within the campaign files is what you should definitely be using. Now, obviously, we create everything for a reason, so we encourage you to use everything, but we just want to feature a certain resource so that you can just go and access it and use it quickly. So the first campaign is 7 reasons why your kids need chiropractic care. So I love this one because it just cuts right to the chase. And there are parents that are debating this, probably most of them, with regards to whether or not chiropractic care is what their kids need. And we know that. And since many of the chiropractors that are involved with the tribe, they are looking for ways to see more kids, this becomes a perfect avenue for you to do that. So the immediate action is this. And this kind of sounds like an internal strategy, but it's really not an internal strategy. Pick your top 5 patients who have young children and ask them to send a letter that's in the campaign files to, because it's already there, we wrote a letter for parents to use, the letter for the parents to use, and have them send it to the school where their child is at, have them put it in their child's backpack to give to their teacher, have them send it to the nursery school. Let your top 5 patients, your evangelists, help get the message out to where more parents are, so that in turn you now have a wider audience that's exposed to this. The letter is already written for you. So that's kind of like a dancing between an internal and an external strategy, but it's definitely a great way to access more parents. A fearless strategy is this. Why don't you consider hosting a breakfast at your office for all of the local nursery schools in the area? Maybe even invite the superintendent, members of the PTA, the mayor, anyone that has an interest in helping children thrive, and have a brainstorming session on ways to bring this information and just information about health and wellness to the community. Get the power players in a room together, and then you facilitate that session. I think there's huge opportunities here. And then the featured resource for this is the Facebook cover photo, because it's different, it's fun, I think it's really attractive, and people are going to like it a lot. And then also the letter from the parent to the school. So, all right, Dan, next up is the truth about flu shots.
So this is actually a really popular campaign. A lot of you had requested it. We've run this several dozen times in the past, and so we ended up building it for the Holy Grail. Now, the immediate action, and this is something that we've found to be consistently successful for this particular campaign because it's such a big topic, is to reach out to your local news station and get onto TV. So we include the resources that you need in order to do this. Use the letter, and just send it out. This is the immediate action. This is the first thing that you need to do. Don't overthink it. Just reach out and just do it, because the earlier that you can establish contact with them, the better. So once again, it's a controversial topic, and it's one that a lot of people just don't know about, and they don't know that there's an alternative. So the news is obviously one of the best ways to get that out there. The fearless strategy for this campaign is to pick 3 local businesses in the healthcare industry in that area who share a similar mindset and similar belief system to yourself. and have a meetings of the mind, have a mastermind to get that message out to everyone. So you can start talking to them about how you can leverage their audience, how you can, how everybody can kind of build off of each other's businesses, and maybe even host a teleseminar at some point. Talk about those possibilities, because when you get really smart people together, really cool things happen. So when you pick those 3 people, introduce them to one another, and just meet up and have, just sit over tea or coffee and have a meeting and start talking about possibilities. So that's a fearless strategy. And the featured resource for this campaign is the letter to the news station and the letter to the local expert. So those are the 2 letters that you can actually use to do those things. The news station would be for the immediate action, and the local experts would be for those 3 business owners and business minds in the area. So I think the next one's the master controller, right?
Cool. Yeah, and if you're going to notice a consistent theme here, and we're going to start really driving home on this, because the tribe members that have done this already have really experienced incredible success. You need to empower other like-minded businesses to support you and for you to support them. It's no different than what we've done here. The power's in the pack, right? So all local businesses have the same goal. They want to serve the community. So then, since we know that's the goal, we want to then segment the ones that are philosophically aligned with you when it comes to their beliefs around health and abundance and all those types of things, and then form very firm relationships with them. Because they have a tribe, you have a tribe, why not combine the tribe? There's a synergy. So you're going to see that's a consistent theme going forward, and we're going to share like specific ideas around how to actually do that. The Master Controller is the ultimate chiropractic education workshop. So this was backed by demand from dozens and dozens of you. So you have it, and now it's time to rock it. The recommendation here on the immediate action is to use all of the letters. There's tons of letters there. Letters to churches and synagogues. This is a great campaign for that. Letters to other local businesses. Expose them to this. Chiropractic gives people the edge. Why not let other entrepreneurs, other local businesses realize that this will take their game and their life to the next level? Letters to the news stations. I'm telling you right now, the news stations don't know what chiropractic is from your perspective. Why not get them to come out and interview you for this program? Press release, get it in there. This is an immediate. I mean, just get it in there because it's a topic that's press-worthy. And then distribute all of these resources to these power players, these conduits of influence, so that there's more awareness around each of these programs. The fearless strategy for this one. This one I really think is something that could just push your office like to that next level, is think of the most powerful person or group in your community and schedule a one-on-one meeting with this person, and then in the meeting engage them on an intellectual level. I don't know who that is, but there's someone in your community that has major influence. I'm going to give you an example, and I just heard this story, I think it was last week. So this chiropractor was telling me that there's another chiropractor in North Carolina who connected with, it was like a priest of one of those mega churches in North Carolina, and just shared the story. I mean, shared the story about the master controller. That's what it is. And this person's not a client, but the one that shared the story is. And he went to the pastor or the priest and shared the story, and the priest was so fired up that they raised all this money that he actually purchased care plans for their entire congregation in the tune of $250,000. The point is that there is someone, or maybe a few people, that are just power players in your community, and it's time that you sit down eyeball to eyeball with this person and you share the story. You engage them on an intellectual level. The why, the how, the what, the who, and the why. And if they truly are a power player that's looking to add value to the community, there's a very good chance that they're going to help bring you to the community, because everyone benefits as a result. That's a true story that I shared, and it's just an example of really leveraging people of influence. The featured resource for this campaign is all of the letters. If you're doing this campaign, you're obviously passionate about chiropractic, plaster your entire community with it. All right, Dan, go for it with Doctored.
So Doctored is a movie screening for those of you who are running it, and this is actually a really cool one, because what we've done in the past with the screening, specifically with Doctored actually, is, and this is what the immediate action is for you guys, assemble a panel of experts that will be available for questions after the screening, and they will help you, market this event in advance. Now, the great thing about this is that when people come in for doctors, it's a very controversial movie, but it's also very, marketable. People are interested in it. They watch the trailer. It piques their interest. So they come in, they're entertained by the movie, but it raises a lot of important questions. So at the end, you say, okay, we've got this amazing panel of experts that can answer those questions for you on the spot. So you can go home and really have taken away a lot of value from this experience. So what your immediate action is to assemble this panel, reach out to people and start establishing those relationships. Or if you already know the people, then just explain what's going on. Use the intellectual connection, tell them why you're doing this, tell them what's going on, and start setting that panel up. Now, the fearless strategy for this campaign is to get the major power players in your community to highly endorse this event. This could be also people on the panel, but this is something that you want the entire community to experience. So this would be, the priest in Jared's example just now, the really big names, the people who have, a strong following and who can really start, gathering the masses and getting some people through your door. Now, you want to sit down with them, once again, one-on-one, but this is a really good example of how you're creating an environment of incredible value that's delivering something unique. Obviously, a lot of people haven't seen Doctored, or even if they have, they haven't had a panel of experts available after the screening, to actually follow that up. So this is an incredibly, valuable experience that you could bring, and those power players in the community are going to be able to blow it up for you. The featured resource for Doctored is the letters to the businesses, the letters to the expert, and the letters to the news station. So this is all about, once again, external promotion. You want to get the word out about this. People are going to be interested just because, it's a movie. That's what will pique their interest. But you want to follow it up with the fact that it is a unique experience. They're going to be learning something amazing and really eye-opening. So that's what you want to focus on for the communication with this particular campaign, as it relates to external promotion.
Cool.
So I think the next one's Teachers Referral Month, right?
Yeah, I really love this campaign. This has always been such a successful strategy for the chiropractors that have done it. So whether you're doing it during the month of September or whenever you're doing it, it's going to be a success for you. And for those chiropractors that have the desire to see more children, this is a wonderful conduit, because teachers truly have a circle of influence. They have the parents, they have the kids, and in order for them to have a wonderful impact on the child's life, they need to be performing at top notch. I mean, and you know this, they need to have no interference. They need to just thrive when they are in the classroom. And chiropractic care will help make that a reality. So the immediate action for this, and this might sound like a fearless strategy, but it needs to be the immediate action, is reach out to the superintendent. The superintendent needs to know that you're doing this. Just sit down with he or she and just say, I want to let you know what we're all about, your why, your how, your what, your who, and then your why, and just share what this opportunity represents and why you're doing it in the first place, because there's such a powerful story around this with regards to the importance of helping these teachers thrive, which will then benefit the children. But you need to sit down eyeball to eyeball with that person and share the story. This is an external marketing strategy. The fearless strategy is find your way onto the news. It's just that important, especially if you're doing this campaign in the beginning of the school year. Find your way onto the news. Claw your way onto the news. Get them to interview you. Have your staff use the letter that we put together. Follow up with a phone call. Be super, super persistent, because this is newsworthy. On a local level, this is very newsworthy, because the news is focusing on kids going back to school and parents buying certain things for their children, and they're always looking for different topics around this concept of health when it comes to families. And now you're going right to the teachers in order to offer your services. So find your way, claw your way to get on the news. It has huge potential for you. And the way you do it is just by using the resources we put together. We've had dozens of chiropractors now that have just used the letters that we've put together, and that's how they got on the news. Whether it was the press release, which then ended up leading to phone calls for then a news interview, or just using the letters to the news station, that's what got them on, and it's a very special opportunity for you. You'll usually get access to the clip, which can then be put on your website, so there's amazing social proof with it as well. The featured resource is the letter to the school, obviously, press release, and then the letter to the news. Claw your way onto the news. You deserve to be the spokesperson when it comes to health of the families and of the teachers, and this is a great way to do it. So Dan, why don't you close out these campaigns with Chiropractic's birthday?
All right, we got the birthday party. We're going to, as the immediate action, just to continue once again the theme, but actually this is a little bit more involved. Pick 5 businesses in your local community who will sponsor this birthday party. So who will participate in the celebration itself and who can help you market the event. So you want to find those 5 businesses who align with you, perfectly, and reach out to them and say, this is what we're doing. I want you on board. I want you, in front of my audience. I agree with what you're doing. I'm totally on board with, your business, and I would love to promote you to my audience. But at the same time, I would love for you to support what we're doing as well. That's how you reach out. Do that with 5 businesses and have them. You can set up tables. You can do whatever. That is most appropriate for what their business is, but the most important thing is that you reach out immediately and start establishing those relationships and start talking to them about what that table looks like or how you can benefit their business and how they can benefit yours. Make it a win-win scenario, and you guys will be in really good shape. But have them help you market the event, make sure that they're on board, make sure that there's communication there, so you're always following up with them, letting them know what's going on. You can share with them some of the emails and marketing resources that we provide. So that's the immediate action. The fearless strategy for the birthday party is to get local businesses to donate some middle and high ticket items for the raffles and for the fun activities. So this is a great way to once again take those relationships with those sponsors further. So you can say, we're having a raffle. Would you be interested in donating first 5 yoga sessions for free, if you're just using the example of the yoga studio. Whatever that is, it could be a local gym, it could be a nutritionist, whatever. You could use that as a way for them to promote them to actually sponsor the event, but also for them to get some promotion for their event itself. So you want this to be a synergy. You want it to build upon itself, and when people come in and they see that it's not just you who's putting on this event, it's an absolute community event where there are 5 businesses who are contributing to the raffles, and they've got fun activities set up, and everybody's engaged, and you can go to one table that you're interested in, and everybody has something that they can go to and engage with. That's what you want to create with this. So reach out to those businesses. That's the immediate action. But the fearless strategy is to really take it a step further and have them sponsor and give raffle prizes and set up activities for people to engage with. So the feature resource for this campaign is all the letters. So you want to reach out to the Chamber of Commerce, you want to reach out to local businesses, experts, the news, and basically you want to blow this up and reach as many businesses as possible. That's really the point. So the law of averages will mean that if you send this to the Chamber of Commerce and several local businesses that you handpick, you'll get a lot of response, and then you'll be able to say, okay, well, out of these businesses, who aligns with us most, accurately? Who do we feel would provide as much value as possible for our practice members? And so when you find those 5, you can reach out to them and say, hey, I would love to meet up and start talking about possibilities. And so that's all of that kind of stuff starts with the letters. That starts with you reaching out and establishing contact. So that's the featured resource, and for the chiropractor birthday, that's a really cool campaign. It's one of my favorites for this month. So that's a featured resource. Hope you guys do really well with it.
Cool. So I have 2 questions that have been passed my way, but let's go and do the live group first and just kind of go around and answer any questions, or if you have insights or ideas you want to share, let's do that now. So Dr. Whalen, let's start with you, man. Any questions or anything that you want to discuss?
No, I don't have any questions at this point.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Great seeing you, man. Mike V.
Nothing campaign related, just a question about the Business Pros. Should that be compatible with your iPhone? I was trying to log on, but it just said it kept saying it would begin shortly, but I was never able to connect last time.
Yeah. Do you have the Hangouts app on your phone?
Yeah. No, I just had. I mean, I clicked on the link, and it showed me the site, but there was nothing streaming from there. So I just watched an old one. But is there?
When you click the link, it should bring you to probably either a YouTube video or a Google Plus events page,
Okay.
and from there you should just, if you press the play button, then it should work. If you're having issues during the broadcast this week, just email in and somebody here will let me know and we'll figure it out for you.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. Awesome. Great question. Scott, any question over there? You're on mute if you want to speak, man. Or Tim, you're on mute as well. I have 2 questions that have been submitted as well. So I'll start answering those, and if either of you guys have questions, please feel free to ask them. So one of them, this is a great question, actually.
You guys can type them in as well on the side.
Yeah. Anybody else, you guys keep typing them in. These were sent over. I guess someone must have emailed them in. So one of them is, how do I go about selecting a location for doctored? So that's a great question, and it really comes down to how big do you want it to be. We've had offices that have done it in their clinic, and they were able to fit 10 to 50 people in their office, and that's just what they wanted it to be. And over time, we've had offices that have 700 people, literally 700 people. Fantastic. Major event. It was a community-wide event. I think they actually had a few chiropractors that promoted it with them, and they did it at a local community center where there was a screen set up, and there was obviously accommodations for 700 people. So it comes down to how big you want it, and then based on that, do your best to form some strategic relationship so that if you decide not to do it in your office, it doesn't cost you any money. Often community centers have facilities inside the center that they're not using. And you could form a very strong bond with the community center and state that you're going to market this heavily. It's going to expose people to the community center. Maybe the director of the community center could be on the panel because they're health and wellness oriented. And then as a result, you don't have to pay a fee for this. So there's many creative ways to go about securing a spot for doctored. But the first question you ask yourself is, how big do I want it? There's no shame in saying, I just want to do it in my office. That's fine. But if you want to have 100 people or more and your office can't accommodate, then try to find a location in the community that can. And I would go down the path of a strategic relationship so that it's not just, I'll pay you $500 for the space, but why don't we market this together? Let's make this like a big community-wide event. And that's a really effective way to have this event turn into a success for you. Yeah, sure.
Jared, last year, worked with actually it was an artist studio. It was held at an artist studio in conjunction with a meetup group.
Actually,
cool. With vegetarian and vegan meetup group. So there were like 30 people and food. So that's one suggestion.
Nice, that's cool.
That's a really great suggestion. Using meetup.com, I didn't even think about that for really many of these campaigns. That's a really great suggestion, actually, because any health-oriented group, like, they are looking for events like this, and for you to put on that event, and then they often have a facility too where they meet regularly. So it's just now, do they have a projector? If not, you can rent a projector and then get a screen and then put it on a wall even, and then show the film. That's a really great idea. So for anyone doing doctored, keep that in mind. It's a really good idea. The other question,
as a quick overview in terms of how you guys can do that, setting up a meetup just account is free. It costs money to actually post events, but that's not what we're talking about. So you can set up a free account and then just search for the groups that you would be looking for. So if it's health and wellness, search health and wellness. If it's nutrition, if it's even movie screenings or whatever, just search that on meetup.com, and those groups will pop up, relevant groups with those keywords, and you can reach out and contact the people who are leading those groups, the group admins, and just explain what you're doing and just tell them that you'd love to partner up and do something with the group. And most times they're just going to respond because they're obviously looking for always new stuff to do, new events to put on, and they'll be accommodating.
Yeah, and to that point, like these admins for the group, it becomes like almost like it's a pressure, because like the only way that the group is successful is if they have events all the time, because otherwise it becomes dismantled, no one's showing up. So it's really, you are offering value by bringing the idea to the group. So everyone has these meetup groups. Small communities have it, large communities obviously have it. Just do a quick search. I mean, just type in health and wellness and you'll see which groups have the most people, and ones that have done events recently are the most active. Just reach out. I think there's huge opportunities there for all of you, especially with an event like that. So yeah, great idea, Dr. Whalen, and Dan, great job as well. The other question that was sent my way, is another good question, is that the person says, I love the idea of getting other businesses involved, but how do I select them, and how do I connect with them, and then what do I say? So those are great questions. So let's start with the first part of it, which is how do I select them? So what you need to do in order to know what businesses to select is to first say, who is my ideal patient? Like, who do I want to do business with? What are the characteristics of this individual? Once you have crystal clarity of who you want to do business with, then at that point, go and take a ride around your community. Literally, get in the car with your staff even and just drive around and start looking at all the different businesses that show up. And when you look at them, write down their name and then go back to your office as a team and say, okay, do you think that XYZ nutrition store has our ideal candidates that are coming in there? Well, yeah, definitely. Do you think XYZ mechanic does? Well, they might. So what you start to do is you create 3 categories. There's a category for hot, which is like prime. Like, that's the person that believes what you believe, and you just reaching out to get them excited. Then there's a medium category, which it could go either way, but the odds are they're probably pretty good, maybe not ideal, but pretty good. And there's a cold group, which there's just no reason to pursue those people. But then once you know what businesses they are, and it just starts focusing on the highest leverage points, which is the hot people. Like, go to those businesses, set up these lunch meetings, set up the cup of coffee, set up a smoothie meeting, whatever that looks like. Have time to sit down with them and pick their brain. And do it authentically. It's not like a bait and switch, like, I'm going to ask you 10 questions so I can convert you. You're going to learn from them. I mean, you're going to acquire insight that you can transform into your own wisdom. You can learn what they do for marketing. You can learn how they hire and how they fire, how they've built a culture. Like, you can really learn from them. But go after those highest leverage points, which is the hot category, then you work your way down. Because what you'll see is that hot category is going to expose you to new opportunity. And then once you make the connection, which means you just literally go and show up and introduce yourself, or your staff makes a phone call and sets up a meeting for the 2 of you, what you say is you ask questions, and then once they come back with a question like, tell me about you, you engage them on an emolectual level. The why, the how, the what, the who, and the why. So that's how you do this, and I am so sure that this is going to work for you guys, because when you find like that like-minded business who just gets it, they're going to be so enthusiastic that you've reached out to them because they've been thinking about reaching out to you, but they haven't, that they're like, let's do this. And then if you really want to solidify it, record a video blog, because on the spot there's going to be commitments that are made. Maybe they decide to do doctored with you. Maybe that's one of the things that comes of this meeting. Record a video blog and say, I'm so excited. We're doing doctored on September 27th, and Bob from the local nutrition store is going to be on our panel. Bob, what are you going to talk about? And now Bob is going to communicate to the world, like, I'm going to talk about this. So it commits Bob to following through, and then you post this on your website, Bob sends it out to his database, and everyone wins as a result. So the first step, figure out your ideal patient. Second step, get in the car, get on your bike, drive around, write down the names of all the businesses that you pass. Third step, categorize them as hot, as medium, or as cold. Focus on the highest leverage points first. Either you or your staff reach out and set up a time to meet with these businesses. Interview them. Ask them questions. Pick their brain. At some point, they're going to ask you a question. Engage them on an emolectual level. Get a commitment, and then record a video blog. That's the way to get other businesses involved. So maybe we'll even blueprint that out. But that's the way to do it. I was thinking off the cuff. So all right. So great questions, everybody. Thank you for that. And if you have other questions, obviously you know who to reach out to. So next week we're going to talk about internal marketing for the September campaigns. This is always fun. We're going to talk about pattern interrupts and anchors. These are always fun to discuss and to dive into, and we already have some great ideas that the whole team has been coming up with. Shout out to active Facebook participants. So Dr. Griswold, Dr. Tompkins, Dr. Pint is new, posting some great questions in there, so, and everybody for responding, so that's great. Dr. Karich, Mike V, everybody, great job with using Facebook as a conduit to support one another. Send any questions to marketing@synduit.com if it is marketing or if it's SynMind related, and to Pixel Corps for your website. We are going to be sending out October campaigns either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. We just need to get all the videos edited, but everything is set. These are awesome campaigns. You can see them already. We posted it on Facebook, and then you can begin to select them either later on today or tomorrow. With regard to Project Chiropractic, we will send a message out about this. Please take it seriously. This is a great opportunity to bring chiropractic to the world, and how cool will it be if one of your practice members is selected as a story of transformation. Realize this will reach millions of people. Literally, millions of people will be exposed to these interviews. It's a really exciting opportunity. And then the final piece is our quote. So let me just share my screen with all of you. I think it's a great quote. Each time you win, concentrate on the next level. And I say that because sometimes in chiropractic what happens is you have like a really solid month and it's like you decide to coast a little bit. But that's not what it's about. When your vision is truly to have a lasting impact, which I know is the case for everyone involved with SynPractic, when you hit your biggest month, the next month just needs to be bigger. It's not time to then just coast. So each time you win, concentrate on the next level. What does that look like? What does that feel? Who do I need to be to get there? What do I need to do? Really go through that process. So once again, each time you win, concentrate on the next level. With that, Dan, do you have anything else you want to share?
I think that's it. We covered everything that I think we got all the external promotion topics covered.
Awesome. So as always, we appreciate all of you. Keep rocking. If you need anything at all, please reach out, and we'll speak to you next week. Take it easy, everybody.
See you guys.